Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Renee, girl, look at you in the room so fast. I love it, girl. You like, I am here and I'm going to be on time. Okay. I appreciate that. I'm so happy to virtually experience you. Thank you so much for being here and being faithful. Renee, you getting some good stuff out of this? Are you getting you some good stuff? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all come on. Y'all know what I'm going to say, right? Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Again, that's all y'all getting because I'm not a singer. I can do that little part. Y'all come on in the room. I am. My spouse and I went over questions at dinner. Oh gosh, Renee, I love that. Girl, I'm telling you, each one has to reach one. You cannot be on this journey by yourself. I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah. Because we all have stuff, right? It's not just you, it's not just women. Everybody has something. Everybody has something. So today we're going to be closing out. Hey, Miko, how you doing, darling? Today we are going to be closing out Ghosts in the Nursery. And I'm telling y'all, I've sealed or filled in some of my cracks too. I have filled in some of my cracks too. Because just because I'm healed does not mean that things don't come back and revisit you or that you can't have a new awareness like I had yesterday. Like that awareness yesterday was so enlightening for me. And I mean, I'm 59. I'm 59 years old and I just connected and just received something from internally for something that I have. I mean, I experienced this, I mean, gosh, when I was a kid and then in high school, 17, I think. And I just made the correlation and the connection at 59 on why it had so much power. And I did not know that it was because of one of my ghosts in the nursery, right? One of my ghosts in the nursery that was attached to my mom. I did not know. Good morning, Mars. Good morning. Good morning. I had no idea. So I'm so thankful. But first, let me just do my opening and welcome to all of my graceful grinders and totally uniquers. We are going to embark upon another live recording of the Grace and Grind podcast. It airs every other Thursday, wherever you get any of your other podcasts. It's literally everywhere. So come on in. Today we're doing day 3 of Ghosts in the Nursery, and we're going to be closing it out today. So if you have not listened or watched, you can go back and you can watch it on Facebook. You can watch it on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can jump in. Just jump in wherever, get in where you fit in. I promise you, it will bless you. It will absolutely bless you. So thank you for my faithful followers. And thank you for participating and being here. Now, I do have some things that I need you guys to do for me. I need you to save the video once it's done. I need you to share the video even now. Share, share, share. I need you to comment. Good morning, Aunt Ruth. I need you to comment at least 5 words when you're making a comment. That way, the algorithm knows that we are real people. I need you to like it. I need you to follow. I need you to go on my other socials. All of them are same handle. I am Dr. Pamela, DrPamala, and go on. And so that we can connect everywhere. Everywhere I am, I want you to be as well. Okay. So we can connect on every platform because sometimes the information is different based on what I'm posting. I don't always post the same thing everywhere. So make sure you're connecting with me. I promise if you connect with me, I'll connect back with you. So with that being said, you guys know that this is my devotion time, and I decided to share my devotion time with you. I'm going to read it, and then I'll tell you. Layla, my co-host, is, please back away. This is real life, guys. This is what I'm dealing with in the moment. And this is my co-host, Layla, my little Yorkie, okay? And the co-host is always cutting up. Layla, have a seat. Have a seat, Layla. Okay, I forgot what I was saying. Somebody remind me, what was I saying? Oh, I'm going to read my devotion, and then I'm going to tell you how it resonates with me. And then I invite you to just kind of go introspectively and decide how it resonates with you. Okay. I want to, my nose, I'm having some dry skin. That I've never had problems with my skin on my face before. Now I'm starting to get this dry skin, and we're going to fix that. Okay. I got to find some products. I remember my mother used to have that, and I used to be like, "Oh, I hope I don't ever get that." Now here I am at 59 getting dry skin on my nose. All right. That was just a flashback memory. Okay. Before I read the reflection, I want to say to you guys, thank you so much for just allowing me to just be me without any judgment, right? Thank you so much for allowing me to have my moments publicly, because I know that I'm healed. Good morning, D. I don't have any shadow of a doubt. I know that I'm healed, but I also know that I still have some cracks that need to be filled. And yesterday, I filled a pretty huge crack. And just making that connection at the end, um, just thank you guys. Okay, I'm going to fix this because, and I don't really know how to fix this, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to do all this social media stuff. And let me tell y'all, this stuff is difficult when you don't know all the tricks of the trade. Okay, Renee, I just turned my phone down. Can you still hear me? Good morning from Lil Sis. Keep living in purpose. Oh, who said that? I don't even know who said that. Who said that? Say Sai. Good morning from Lil Sis. A. Keep living in purpose on purpose. There you go, honey. We have to live with a purpose, on purpose, for a purpose. That's right. Can you guys hear me on TikTok? Because I just turned my phone down. Tell me if you can hear me. Because I'm trying not to get all of those. In the morning, my phone goes crazy because it's morning time and I'm working. And so people are texting me saying they need stuff and want stuff. And can you guys hear me on TikTok? Wiser now. Thank you for always gifting me. I just love it. I just love it. Wiser now is always gifting. Can you guys hear me? And I get all of these things on TikTok. People are inviting me to come and be their co-host. I can't. I'm doing my own thing. Can you guys hear me on TikTok? Okay, okay, I'm getting some hearts. All right, wonderful. Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. I was saying thank you guys because I am so tired of coaches that always act like they got it all together and they haven't ever experienced anything and they're not currently going through anything. And I will never, if I ever turn into that person, I'm getting out of the game. I am. I'm getting out of the game because it's not authentic. And, yesterday after I had my moment, I had that internal voice talking to me saying, girl, you share too much. And then I was like, no, I don't, because I know that people are going to be healed. People are going to change their behavioral responses because I am, excuse me, transparent and vulnerable and authentic. And that's how I invite you to show up in this space. I want you to bring your whole, real, authentic, wherever you are in this moment. I invite your whole self into this space just as you are. But I want you to be intentional about going inward and connecting with you so that you can begin to change your behavioral responses to your traumatic experiences, because that's how you get better. You got to interrupt your loops. Okay, you got to interrupt your loops. All right, now. All right, let's get into the devotion for December 4th. Let's see what December 4th is, how it's going to speak to us. Let me just say this too. After I finish this, my own devotional will be coming out. Okay, so we're going to do this to the end of December, the end of the year, and then you guys will be able to get my devotional. It's not done yet. It's a work in progress right now, and I may release it in 30-day increments versus one full, and then that gives me time to continuously build upon it. But I am working on it now. Okay, I am working on it now, and it'll incorporate so many different aspects, and it'll have scriptures and short prayers and affirmations and journal, and it's a bunch of stuff. Okay, but anyway, here we go. My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways and thoughts higher than yours. Remember who I am when you spend time with me. Marvel at the wonder of being able to commune with the King of the universe anytime, any place. Never take this amazing privilege for granted. Okay? Though I am vastly higher and greater than you, I am training you to think my thoughts. As you spend time in my presence, my thoughts gradually form in your mind. My spirit is the director of this process. Sometimes he brings Bible verses to mind. Sometimes he enables you to hear me speak directly to you. These communications strengthen you and prepare you for whatever is before you on your life path. Take time to listen to my voice. Through your sacrifice of precious time, I bless you far more than you dare to ask. What is this saying to me? It lets me know that when I get off track with my thinking, that is not the way that God thinks. When I get off track with my behavior, that is not the behavior that God has ordained for me, and that we can't expect God to do what we want God to do when we want God to do it, and we can't expect God to do things how we want things to be done. We can't expect it to happen when we want it to happen. I told you guys from the very beginning, I like to be in control because I know how to do things. Okay. And there are lots of things that I've done that I have not consulted with God on how to do it because I know how to do things. This reminds me that I should stop, pause, and check in and make sure that I am aligning my thoughts with what it is that He has for me and my actions for what it is that He has for me. And also just to be present in His presence, to take time. Remember, I said counsel and coaching calendar. Calendar is you, putting you on the calendar, just to make sure that I am having my check-ins throughout the day. In the morning, I set my day. At night, set my day. Throughout the day, just having regular check-ins and just making sure that if I am receiving a Bible verse, or if my internal compass is receiving direction, that I'm in tune with that and that I'm paying attention, because that might be the answer or the word that I have been praying for or expecting. But if I'm not settled and still enough to hone in on that, then I might end up on the wrong brick road. I might be derailed or distracted or whatever. So I'm really thankful for these reminders that, He enables me to hear Him speak. And I'm just grateful that my compass is aligned and that I am in tune. And you know what, guys? I'm in tune intentionally, right? Because I get off track like we all do. I get off track and then I have to recalibrate and get myself back on track. Because like I said, I just know how to do stuff. We all do. We know how to do stuff. And sometimes we move because we know how to, right? But it's not checking in. Hey, Delonda, how you doing, sis? Hey, Lips. And we do things because we know how to do them. We've been blessed with many, many, many skills, but it does not always mean that we check in with how we're supposed to use those skills. We just do it because we know how to do it. So I'm just thankful that I'm being intentional. And it's like, as soon as I said, I'm going to be intentional and listen and intentional with my behavior, I really started to hear, like, all these moments that I've been having with you guys publicly is because I'm intentionally trying to be achieve the best version of my authentic self. Like, I am intentional about that. I've asked God to help me align, to help me be better, to help me see me, right? To help me see me and to help me to accept what he shows me. And so when I received that revelation yesterday, of asking myself, or hearing my internally tell me that this is why, what your counselor said, that girls like you don't go to college. This is why you, um, just held that so long. And I didn't realize that it was connected to something my mom used to say. And she was just saying something as when I was a little girl. And to have that revelatory moment on yesterday, it was like, like, wow. And I was sharing with my girlfriend Nisi. She called to check in on me, and I said, even though I cried, it was pain and joy. It felt like a dagger in my heart, but I felt a thorn come out of my soul, if that makes any sense. Because in that moment, I had healing in that moment. So thank you guys for allowing me to be vulnerable and authentic, and for not judging me for it, because I'm just going to be me and I'm going to heal on this journey with you. We're on this journey together. Okay, so we are talking about Ghost in the Nursery, and we're going to do our last parts of Ghost in the Nursery. Now I'm going to do a quick recap, and then quick recap, because we have 8 points in this and we've already done 6. So I'm just going to do a quick recap, okay? Ghost in the Nursery: unresolved pain, wounds, emotional patterns from childhood that still reside in you as an adult, and they show up unintentionally, uninvited sometimes, but because they're unresolved, they show up, okay? They are your unhealed experiences that comes back to remind you that there's something internally that's not healed, that wasn't healed, something you did not get as a little girl, as a little boy, that you needed, but you did not get it. And so therefore, it shows up at the most inopportune times, uninvited many times, and that person, that younger version of yourself, acts out. Okay. So what do we have to do to combat this, or to pay attention to it? We have to notice the emotional reactions that feel too big. So again, if we are doing small, medium, or large, extra large, super size, and we're turning a large, I'm sorry, if we're turning a small into an extra large, that is an echo that you're receiving, indicating that something's off. You're not, the reaction doesn't match the situation. Okay. Number 2, pay attention to patterns you swore you'd never repeat. Right? It's when you start mimicking the person or the situations that hurt you, and or the people, and you realize it. And I gave an example of that. Good morning, Kathy. I gave an example that I saw my mother in me a lot. I saw my mother in me, and I vowed I'm never going to do that when I get kids. And I saw myself repeating that. And then number 3, examine the needs you struggle to meet. So the ghost hides in your unmet childhood needs. So understand, if you're struggling with something emotional now in adulthood, it is probably an unmet need from your childhood. So ask yourself, what is it that the little girl in me needs as an adult right now? And number 4, look for the places where you feel powerless or triggered. What are the people, places, things, tasks? What are those things that come back and to kind of haunt you? Those are your trauma memories, right? What are those trauma memories that show up, and it triggers you to behave in a dysregulated way in adulthood? Okay. And then number 5, reflect on the messages you inherited, not the ones you chose. Like, where did these messages come from that you're living out now? Is it something that's happening right now? Is it something that was from the past and you're living out now, right? Because it was an unmet. It's an echo from the past. All right? And number 6, pay attention to how you treat yourself when you're hurting. And this was where I had my big revelation. I mean, like, big revelation. So pay attention to how you treat yourself when you're hurting. Do you shut down? Do you overfunction? Do you withdraw? Do you become aggressive? So pay attention to those things. Okay. All right. I said it was going to be quick. That was quick because you guys were here and you can always go back and listen to the recap. So we're going to do number 7, and we have 8 points, and then we're going to close it out. Okay. Number 7, trace the emotion back to the origin story. And we've talked about this a few times. Now you may be asking, Dr. Pam, why does some of this stuff sound the same? Because you have to have repetition if you are going to be better. You have to have repetition, and I have to repeat the same information because you may hear it one way the first time. The second time you may get something else out of it. The third time is when you may have your aha moment, right? And as I went through this journey myself, I went through all of this, and sometimes I had to repeat some of the same things in order to experience, like yesterday, right? Like yesterday, that is a perfect example. Yesterday was, and we've been talking about this, and I think we are on day 10. Are we on day 10? I think we're on day 10. But it happened for me yesterday. I'm 59 and I had a connection from yesterday. Okay, guys, I see you tapping the screen. Don't be shy. You can tap the screen all day long. It does not cost you anything. And it lets the algorithm know that we are here, we are live, and that this information is resonating with you. It's okay. You can tap. All I'm going to do is feel the love. Okay, so don't be shy with your taps. I need the taps, okay? Because I'm trying to be obedient in what God said, and I'm casting my nets, okay? But I need you guys to help me to draw who's supposed to be in the net, okay? And in order to do that, that means that we have to get to a broader audience. So you guys, tap, 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 tap. Show me some love, all right? So trace the emotion back to the origin story. Ask yourself, when did I first start to feel this way? Like, go back, like, try to go back to the very first time you started feeling whatever that emotion is, and what's it connected to, who it's connected to, right? You got to know how your ghost got in the nursery. You have to understand how your ghost got in the nursery before you can give up the ghost and before you can eulogize the ghost. You have to know, how did the ghost get in the nursery in the first place? Where did it originate? When? Who taught me to react like this? Who am I mimicking? Whose behavior am I mimicking? It, sometimes many of us did not come from environments where we talked about emotions or we talked about things that are happening in the home. And a lot of times it's survival of the fittest. I know very few people that will say, I don't have any ghosts in the nursery. Usually people have at least one, but sometimes that one can be enough to cripple you emotionally, spiritually, physically, in all the ways. So when did you first start feeling this way? Who taught you to react like this? What story from your childhood is being replayed in adulthood? That's so important to understand. Like, what was going on then that was not resolved, and it's still revisiting me now and causing me to behave in a dysregulated way. Like, what is that? What are those things? Okay. And then understand that your ghosts become visible when you follow the thread backwards. So there's no way what this is saying is, there is no way to move forward without going backwards first. And if you can reflect on how it got there, when was the first time, and whose patterns, where did you learn this? When you can follow that back to its origin, then you'll be able to see the ghost in full physical, full form. Like you can identify, like, oh my God, that's my ghost right there. I sometimes refer to it as your big turkey as well. What do you have shoved into the refrigerator in your roaster pan? What's that big thing? Right? When you can identify that and when you can trace it, it's like doing the genealogy for your trauma. The genealogy for your trauma. That's huge. If you want to change your behavioral responses, if you want to release your trauma, you have to be able to trace the genealogy of the trauma. And then that will help you to identify what the ghost is. All right? That will help you to identify that. Now, yesterday, I had a tracing moment, and it happened like that. And I was trying to keep it contained. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but I was trying to keep it contained. But the healing was coming so quickly that I had to pause. I had to pause and release it because I could not stop it from coming from happening if I tried. I couldn't stop it. I was at that moment where I was ready. It was ready. It had come to head. It was ready to be released. And it was like, this is the moment. It's done. It happened just like that. And you can't shy away from those moments. You have to make space for those moments. If you push it back, tuck it back wherever it was, it's going to take you longer to change your behavioral responses. It's going to take you longer to get rid of it if you feel like, I can't handle it. What is it that you think you can't handle? What's going to happen? If you face it right now, what's going to happen? You're going to cry a little bit. It's okay. You've cried before. You made it through. You made it through. You're going to be okay. If you think you're not going to be okay, that's why I keep saying invite somebody along on the journey with you. Now, Renee was saying that her and her husband yesterday went over the questions together over dinner. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to have a healed marriage. You're going to be healed. I'm going to be healed. And that's going to heal our marriage. You shouldn't go through this by yourself. You should not. And if you're feeling like it's too much and you need to reach out to a therapist or a coach or somebody, then do that, because I'm not a therapist I am not a mental health professional. I'm a trauma practitioner. I am a coach. That's not the same thing. Now, somebody told me yesterday that they were in counseling for a very long time, and the counselor got them to a point. The therapist got them to a point. But being on these lives got them to the point. That matters. So you got to go where you feel like you can get what you need. I'm okay if it's not me. Okay. I just want you to be better. And I want you to be able to change your behavioral responses to your trauma so that you can be better in your relationships with your family, in your relationships at work, in your relationship with yourself. I want you to be better. That's all I want. I want you to be better. And however you get better, I'm okay with it. Just get better. Okay? Just get better. All right. Now, I want to tell you, when you're tracing the emotions back to the original, the origin story, what will happen? How will it show up for you? Okay? You may start to feel confused by your emotions. Hey, Franny. You may start to feel confused because you're used to having these emotions, and once you start challenging them and thinking about them in a different kind of way, Libby, right? Combination, right? Once you start to interrupt them, it's like something different is getting ready to happen in your brain and your spirit and your soul and your essence. It feels that. It knows that, uh-oh, He getting ready to throw us a curveball. This doesn't feel the same. She's doing something different here. And where you have a foundation that's comfortable and safe for you, and now it feels like, oh, she's starting to disrupt some stuff, you may start to feel a little confused, a little apprehension, a little discomfort because you're getting ready to do something new and it's unfamiliar because you've been living with this pattern the same way for a very long time. That's normal. Okay. That is normal. It's normal. Don't push away from it. Don't shy away from it. Don't tuck it back. Don't resist it. It's normal. Continue to challenge yourself through it. Continue to challenge yourself through it. Okay. Continue. Push. Remember, I just said I was trying to shut it down. I couldn't shut it down because it was coming, and I had to tell myself, just push through it. And I did. And I got off from you guys. I had my moment, and then I was good. I cried, and then I was good. It's going to happen. Okay. It's going to happen, but it's good. It's good. Okay. Now, I don't want y'all to get so deep on me because I said you may start feeling a little confused by your emotions. Don't get all deep and say, well, God is not the author of confusion. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. All you're going to do is length. I know some of y'all on here, y'all deep ones on here. I know some of y'all already thought that. Okay. Don't do that. It's a normal part of the process because it's new and unfamiliar. Don't get all deep on it. This is not that. Okay. This ain't that. Okay. How else might it show up? Reactions that seem disconnected from adulthood, but deeply tied to your childhood. I'll read that again. Reactions that seems disconnected from adulthood, but deeply tied to your childhood. And that's where the confusion, because it's like, this is not, there you go, D, push. This is not what's happening right now, but it is connected to something from the past. And so it may try to appear like this doesn't have anything to do with you right now in this moment. You old enough now, you can just get over it, just get past it, just find a way. It doesn't happen like that for everybody. Everybody does not know how to live in a resilient way. Everybody has not learned how to be resilient. So when these reactions try to come to tell you that it's disconnected from your adulthood, it's not. Your childhood is deeply connected to your adulthood. Deeply, deeply, deeply connected to your adulthood. Don't fake yourself out by telling yourself that it's not, because it is. And don't fake yourself out by telling yourself that I should be past this. I should be over this. This should be gone. I shouldn't be dealing with this. Don't worry about all that. Deal with it. Remember, you may not be the reason it's there, but as an adult, hey, Jamise, welcome back, darling. But as an adult, it is your responsibility to make sure that you're healed and that you're whole. Okay, you didn't put it there. We know that, but it's there. You can't change it. It's in there. It's a part of your fiber. It's a part of your being. That's okay, right? It's okay, but it does not have to continue to impact you the way that it has been, because you have the power to control. You guys want to know what blessed my soul this morning? I talk to my granddaughter every morning to center her, to get her day started. So we have our morning every morning for about 5-10 minutes or so. And she said to me, because I have the power to control, and I can't control anybody else, but I do have the power to control myself. 6. Imagine if somebody told us this imagine if the people in our circle, in our homes, in our lives were healed, and they told us this at 6. This baby got it at 6. I can't control anybody else. I said, when your emotions start to feel too big for you, what are you going to do? She said, I'm going to listen to myself inside. I said, and what are you going to do? She said, I'm going to listen to my brain tell me to slow down. 6. Now I know y'all not going to let this little 6-year-old show y'all up. I know y'all not going to let this 6-year-old show y'all up. 6. I said, Cass, I want you to think about what you do. She said, before I do it. I said, and I want you to think about what you say. She said, before I say it. Okay. 6. I said, do you have the same behavior at school that you have at home? She said, no, I have to code switch into my school behavior. 6. Thank y'all for the love. Okay. Because my baby girl, Franny, I see you, girl. Franny is giving the love, honey. Yes, yes, and yes. Let me see if I can change that because, okay, it's good. All right. All right. So you guys with me? Are you guys with me? Are you with me? And how else will it show up? Emotional flashbacks without details, only feelings. Now, let me tell y'all, that can be really, really challenging for some of you because the feelings can sometimes be bigger than the flashback. Now, I was experiencing the opposite. I was getting the flashback, but I wasn't getting the feeling. When I told you guys about my military situation 40 years ago, and I kept seeing for decades, I had this same dream for decades that I was behind warehouses walking in the pitch black, but I could feel train tracks underneath my feet. Underneath my feet, I could feel train tracks. Okay, let me see, Mary Lovely. Let me tell Mary Lovely I'll give her a call back, sister. I'll call you back. All right. I was having these flashbacks, but I did not know. I didn't see the beginning of the experience. I didn't see the end of the experience. I only saw this short part of it. The train tracks and the walking on train tracks in the dark behind warehouses. That's all I saw. That is all I saw. And I kept reliving that for decades. I did not know what that meant. I didn't know what it meant. Hey, WD, good morning. I didn't know what it meant. And then when the full thing, the full vision, the full experience happened, then I had the feelings and the flashbacks. But sometimes you may get the feelings with flashbacks. Sometimes you may get the flashbacks without the feelings. Just embrace it. Whatever it is, embrace it. Embrace it. Don't fight it. That's how we end up being stuck for a long time because we fight it. We don't tell ourselves the truth. And it's the little girl in you, the little boy in you is trying to tell you something, and we push it aside because I don't want to deal with that right now. I'm healed. I'm over that. I shouldn't be dealing with that at 59 just because I'm 59. I'm good. No, you're not. It's still in there. And if you haven't been intentional about dealing with it, then you're not healed. I don't care if you don't think about it today and tomorrow. That does not mean you're healed. I have somebody in my life that's very close in my life, a female, and she's always saying that I just learned how to deal with it. No, you haven't. Because it shows up in your personality every single time we're together. You haven't learned how to deal with it. It's controlling you right now. It's just that you're dismissive of it. And you're not being honest with yourself because you're afraid to have the flashbacks and the feelings. I'm telling y'all, you're going to cry. But as long as you listen to what Nana said, your healing is on the other side of your tears, number one. And number two, don't just be crying. Okay? Cry with a purpose. Think about why you're crying and release why you're crying. And then when you're crying, don't just, no, like cry until your stomach hurts. Like cry about it because it's hurt you that deeply. The level of your cry should be at the level of your pain. If your pain is gut wrenching, you should not be having this teensy tiny little teensy weensy little weeping cry. No, you need to be on the threshing floor, baby. You need to be on your face. You need to be having your battle cry like, I'm getting this mess out of me. I'm getting it out of me today. And your cry needs to match the measure of your pain. You can't weep out deep. You can't do your pretty cry when you got deep pain, because it's still going to be in there. You've just shed a little tears. You haven't even chipped the tip of the iceberg, right? You can't do that little cutesy cry when you've been hurting for decades, when you've been traumatized internally for decades. You can't do your little cutesy cry. Good morning. Okay, I think I already read that. Yeah. All right. You can't do that little cutesy cry. You gotta give it all you've got emotionally. D said yes. Now, D, you said you were crying in silence. I hope that you are crying now and you are really letting those cries out. Right? Kath said, wow, that's so true. For real. But how many times have you done that? And then you wonder why when you say, I've cried about it, and then you finish crying and it's like, I still feel the same. Because you haven't really, you've wept. You've wept. You can't weep over when you have trauma that is in your soul. You can't weep that out. You just can't. You have to give it your battle cry. I'm talking snot, swollen eyes. You're not worrying about wiping your tears. You're not worrying about wiping your nose. You're not worrying about how you look. I'm talking about you trying to, you tapping in. You're not tapping out. You're tapping in. That's what I'm talking about. And that's when you'll start to feel like you've released something. Like we're having conversation, right? You guys are employing the things that I'm saying. You should do this. I'm telling you, you should. Now, I know I always say too, don't allow people to should on you, SHOULD. But I'm saying, I'm shoulding on you right now. I'm shoulding big time. You should be doing all these things that I'm saying you should do. You should. I'm shoulding all over you. Should. You should be. If you want to get better, you should be employing these things. You should. Okay. Now I'm going to give you some reflective questions. You ready? Mars, you ready? Here we go. Mars is going to put the questions in the chat, and you guys can write them down. And the next year, the journal will be ready. Okay. The journal will be ready. All right, here we go. When did I first experience this emotion or these emotions? When did I first experience this emotions? Cry and cry some more. That's right, sis. Cry as much as you need to, as often as you need to. As often as you need to. As much as you need to. Cry and cry some more. All right? But before you cry, understand, what are you crying about? What are the emotions that you are trying to release? And when did you first experience them? What's it attached to? Who it's attached to? When did I first experience these emotions? Question number 1. Question number 2. Renee, you getting the questions? You getting the questions? Because you guys going to be doing this again tonight over dinner. All right. Question number 2. What was happening in my life at that time? What was happening that made you, that caused these emotions to come? What was happening then when you were the little girl and the little boy? When you first started feeling this, what was going on? Like, what was really going on in your life? What was going on? Mm. This is my favorite question out of these three. Excuse me. Guys, I'm here. Okay, I'm trying to get through. I'm coming down with something, but I'm here. Okay. I am here nonetheless, but I've been fighting it off at bay with my Zycam or whatever it's called, and I'm feeling it more today than I have. But I'm here. I'm here. Y'all got you got the whole me. I'm getting through it. Question number 3. What did my younger self need that she or he didn't get? What did my younger self need that he or she didn't get? Donna said, yes, crying really helps. It does. I'm telling you, it does. It does. And I hope you guys aren't holding back your tears because can't nobody see you. You over there, I'm over here. Nobody can see you. Right. Unless you at work like Kathy listening, you know. But Kathy, you may have to release that cry, girl. You may have to weep a little bit in the office and then get home and finish the rest. You know, just kind of lift the Band-Aid up a little bit. And then when you get home, snatch that thing off and go all in. Right. What did your younger self need that he or she didn't get? That was eye-opening for me. When I asked myself that question, that was eye-opening for me. Eye-opening. You guys on my TikTok, thank you so much for the hearts. I appreciate, I'm feeling the love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. You guys know that I love you, right? I do. I do. I do. I do. And my TikTok my TikTok family is helping me to achieve some goals in TikTok. Okay? Y'all got to step it up, Facebook. Come on. You got to step it up. Right? So that is our number 7. That's our last question. What did my younger self need that he or she did not get? All right? Let me tell you something. When you answer that question, when you tie that into tracing your emotion back to the origin story, and you tie it back to, okay, when that was happening, what did I need that I didn't get? Let me tell you, that is an emotional orgasm. Dare I say it? That is an emotional orgasm. It is. When you can tie the origin story and then ask yourself, what did you need? And then you give yourself what you need. Let me tell you something. I know I just made up something, but I like it. Emotional orgasm. Okay. Can I say that on social media? Repeat which one, cousin? Which one do I need to repeat? Number 3 or repeat all of them? Number 1, when did I first experience this emotion? Number 2, what was happening in my life at that time? Number 3, what did my younger self need that he or she did not get? Repeat number 2, what was happening in my life at that time? What was going on? Why was I feeling this in the first place? What was going on? Libby said, yep. I know I made something up, but I like it. Okay. I'm going to write about that. Emotional orgasm. You put them things together, honey, you hitting on something. You got something there. You got something. All right. Now we're going to do number 8. And number 8 is closing this out. Okay. Number 8 and number 9 is going to be closing. It's going to be closing this out. Closing out the ghost in the nursery. Okay. Because why are we talking about ghosts in the nursery? We need to identify the ghost so that we can give up the ghost, so that we can eulogize the ghost. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. Just like that. All right. So number 8, healing the ghost in the nursery. How healing happens. Healing begins when the adult self becomes stronger, safer, and more emotionally present, emotionally mature. Okay, that's what it's saying. When you become self-aware and emotionally mature, you can start this healing journey. Okay? Not until There's some work that you have to do, the pre-work. Okay. This is the work of reclaiming your voice. When you reclaim your voice, you reparent the wound. So that's why I'm asking you, what didn't you give yourself? Because 9 times out of 10, it's an adult somewhere while we having this wound, right? And it could be a parent. And you don't know how to, you couldn't give yourself what you needed because you didn't have the verbiage, you didn't know how to communicate it, you didn't even know what you were feeling. You couldn't explain it. All you knew is it doesn't feel good, right? That's all you know. What I'm feeling doesn't feel good. So you have to reparent the little boy and the little girl that did not get what they needed. As an adult now, you have to do this reparenting for the inner little girl and little boy. You have to reparent yourself, okay? Reparent the wound. And when you do this, it builds a life that honors your emotional truth because you're identifying what happened here. How did this happen? Who made this happen? Now you're honoring your truth. And when you can trace back that emotional and that traumatic genealogy, and when you can identify all of those things, who, the why, the what, the whens, the wheres, and all, when you can identify all of those things, you can then start to honor your emotional truth as an adult in this season. Simply because you've gone backwards and you've traced, you've identified. Okay. And now you can reclaim who you are in this moment as an adult. You can put that part of your childhood to bed. Nighty night for that. Okay. Now, does that mean that everything is gone? Absolutely not. But whatever that particular traumatic experience is that you're working on, yes, that's gone to bed. Put it to bed. Nighttime story, Betty bye, good night. No more ghosts. That ghost is not going to haunt you like it has. Will it revisit you? Oh, yeah, it's going to come back like the Christmas past, present, and future. It's going to come back. But now you understand how to deal with it. Now you understand how you control how your ghosts show up, your ghosts in the nursery, how they show up. And now you understand how can you exercise the ghost. And you got to go inward to do that because that's where the ghosts are. Okay? You have to go inward to do that because that's where the ghosts are. You guys understand me, TikTok fam? You've got to go where the ghosts are. You can't evict the ghosts if you don't. You got to know where the ghosts are. Okay? Now, I want you to practice some healing strategies. Okay. Now that you've identified, you understand, you know what they are, you know where they came from, you know why you mimic them, you know why they echo, you know who helped you who put them there, and you know all the things about how to identify the ghosts, and you know about your ghosts. You know, if you have been practicing and doing the things and walking through this stuff with me, you know you are very adept about your ghosts. And maybe you only worked on one ghost, but now you have the steps that you can repeat for the next one and the next one and the next one. Or maybe you were like me and was like, I'm tackling all these jokers at the same time, right? It's however you decide to do it. But now you have a recipe for how you can identify and address the ghosts. Now that we know where the ghosts are, how long they've been there, what was happening in your life when they got there, who put the ghost there, what is the ghost saying, what is the wound trying to communicate from childhood into adult, you know all of those things. And I know you could probably play a slideshow in your head right now of all the things I just said about your particular ghost, right? Let's talk about the healing strategies. Reparenting the inner child with compassion, with grace, with consistency, and with emotional safety. That means you are not going to further harm yourself with negative self talk, with beating yourself up, with wishing for things to happen at a time when this should be, this shouldn't be. We're not doing that. That's not compassion. This is what it is. I didn't get this way overnight. It's not changing overnight. I'm going to extend myself some grace. Every time it shows up, I'm going to be consistent and I'm going to challenge it and I'm going to put it back to bed. I'm not going to allow this ghost to haunt me anymore. Not this one. I'm not. Okay. So speak to yourself in the tone that you needed when you were growing up. Come here, baby. Let me talk to you. Let me give you a hug. Listen, I want you to extend some grace with you. This is how I talk to myself. Okay. I want you to extend some grace with you. And I need you to understand that you did not get this way overnight. So I don't want you to have false expectations and think that you're going to change it all in one day. It doesn't work like that. And so while you're on your healing journey, I need you to extend yourself some grace. And I need you to hear me when I say to you that I got you. And I'm talking to me. I got you. And if I got you, you know that you are not going to be let down. I got you. I'm going to be with you every step of the way on this journey. That's how I had to talk to myself to get through. And people may say, girl, that sounds ridiculous. Okay, try it. Because if you're used to, hey, Dr. Pete, if you are used to having those internal emotional battles where you beat yourself up, this is going to be totally different for you. This is totally different, a different type of conversation that you're having with yourself. If you're used to telling yourself, you're not worthy to be healed, you can't heal because of that. That's too big for you to heal. That person is dead, so you can't forgive that person. So that means you have to hang on to the trauma that they put inside of you. All of those things are lies from the pit of hell. Okay. You have the power to control how your trauma shows up in your life, how you respond to your trauma, how much power you give your trauma, and how it impacts you. You have the power to control that. So talk to yourself in the tone and with the words that you needed when you were the little girl or the little boy. You have to, because that's what you needed at that moment. And if you don't do that, then that little girl and that little boy is going to continue to show up uninvited and at the most inopportune times. And they're going to show up and have that temper tantrum when you don't want them to. So make sure that you are speaking life into yourself with compassion, with grace, with love, because you want to create emotional safety. Why? Because you didn't have it then, but you need it now. The little girl, little Pam, needed emotional safety. So I had to talk to myself in a way that produced emotional safety. And that's why little Pam is better. Now, big Pam is better. Okay. Affirm what your caregivers could not. You are beautiful. You are amazing. You are smart. You can go to college and do well. You are loved. You are worthy. You are important. You matter. Even if you're the only person that believes it, honey, that's enough. You are enough. Your love for yourself is more than enough. So you have to say the things to yourself and you have to affirm in yourself what you didn't get when you were a little girl. And I tell little Pam that because I want to make sure she understands. I want to make sure she understands that she is loved unconditionally. And then when if there has ever been a time when I was on my healing journey and I felt like my love wasn't enough, I can always go back to God's love. First and foremost, foundationally, that unconditional, just because I love you, there isn't anything that you can do about it. There isn't anything that you can do to earn it. I just love you just because you're mine. And sometimes, most times, that is enough. But when you take yourself through these practices that I'm sharing with you, you will begin to understand you, and you will begin to understand why you are worthy of self-love. And you'll be able to tap into it. How do I know? Because I'm sharing with you my lived experiences. And there was a time where I could not find, did not see it, didn't know how to show myself love. Didn't know how. But now there are some things that I care about me so much that I absolutely will not do or allow anybody else to do. Why? Because I understand that doing that will be detrimental and sacrificial to me. That's right, Libby. God's love is everlasting. And Donna said, God's love is forever. It is. There isn't anything you can do to cancel it. Now, you may move and not feel it, but He hasn't. And you have to find your way back to it sometimes, because sometimes we're so broken. I'm telling y'all, I'll talk about me. I have been so broken sometimes that I could not feel God's love. Couldn't feel it. Couldn't feel it. Couldn't touch him if he made himself visible and present right before me. Just could not access it. Why? Because I was so trauma bound that I was numb. I flopped. I couldn't feel. And I couldn't feel I couldn't identify my own self-love. I didn't have it to feel. So I'm saying to you that when you decide to go on this healing journey to discover or rediscover the best version of your authentic self, I'm telling you, you will connect for the first time or reconnect with your self-love. I'm telling you what I know, because all of this that I've been sharing with you, we're on day 10, I think. All this stuff that I've been sharing with you, it's my own lived experiences. So I know it works. I know it works. All right. Create emotionally safe environments that support nervous system regulation. Remember, I told you that your trauma shows up in your body first. So just like I was telling Cassidy, when you feel these big emotions, you got to settle that. But you can't settle what you don't identify, what you're not paying attention to. You have to be self-aware before you can mindset shift into any of these things that I'm saying, because this is a new way of thinking, right? This is a new way of being, right? You can't do what you can't be. You guys understand that, right? You can't do any of this stuff. You can't become it if you can't be it. You can't. So first I have to be able to be self-aware. I have to be able to shift into mindset before I'm ever going to be able to achieve self-awareness or shifting my mindset. You guys understand that? Okay? You got to be it first before you could do it, before you can have it. You guys understand? All right? Okay, so remove chaos, unpredictability, and emotional noise. That internal dialogue that keeps you on the negative emotional loop that I've been talking about for the past few days that you have to interrupt. You can't get better if you are on a negative emotional loop. You can't get better if you have internal chaos. You have to simmer it. And the way to simmer it is to first be able to identify, acknowledge it. This is there. I am feeling this right now. Name it. I am feeling some unforgiveness. I am feeling some emotional pain. I am feeling some imposter syndrome. I am feeling some withdrawal. And why am I feeling that? Because I'm hurting, because I'm sad, because I'm angry, because I'm embarrassed, because I'm whatever you name it. And then identify, how is that happening in your body? How is it presenting itself in your body? Right. You got to understand. You got to understand you. And this is how you develop an intimate relationship with yourself. When you learn how to become self-aware and you understand, I'm talking when it starts. When you feel that thing start to heighten, yes. Franny, thank you, girl, for showing up. Yes. Absolutely. I continue daily to extend myself grace. You are so blessed and phenomenal. Thank you for showing up each morning. Baby, you're welcome. It's my pleasure to be here. When you feel that thing rising up, you guys know what I'm talking about. When you get around a certain person or a certain situation, or you're going down a certain street and it brings you that thing, understand what's going, acknowledge it. This is happening in my body right now, and question it. Why? Where did it come from? Who put it there? What's it attached to? What was going on in my life when I first? You got to go through all those things every time. The more you do it, the more you interrupt the loop, the more automation happens emotionally. Because sooner or later you'll be on autopilot and you'll be like, oh dang, I'm on auto. It just happened. It just clicks in. Right? And that's what's supposed to happen. That's why you're on this journey, because you want it to be able to, and just without you thinking about it, bam, it happens, because you've reprogrammed, you've reconditioned. Right? Awareness, willingness, acceptance, intentionality. You have to do this if you are going to change your behavioral responses to your trauma. And in changing your behavioral responses, you'll start to give up some of those ghosts. I promise you, you will. Okay. Add grounding practices, soothing routines, and predictable rhythms. Remember, I was telling you guys to just place your hand over your heart and just breathe. Feel your heart. And I have one of my clients that does this. And it soothes her, right? I don't have to do any of that anymore. I can go inward while I'm talking to you. I can go inward and be still while I'm talking to you. I can calm it because my emotions are on autopilot now. It has been reconditioned and interrupted, and it just knows. It was on autopilot before when I used to fall into the rabbit hole. That was my response. It was an autopilot, but I have reconditioned myself emotionally. I've interrupted the negative emotional loops. Okay. I have rewired my brain. Now, you guys remember what I told you that was called? Come on. Who remembers what I told you that was called? Whoever remembers, whoever can put in the chat what I said that was called, I will give you a free 1 hour coaching session. Just you and me. I'm not going to tell you guys. When you rewire, and don't be Googling and don't be chat GPTing, okay? When you rewire and reprogram your brain, because I said you have the power to do that. It's very scientific, and you can do it. Okay. I've been teaching you guys how to do it. You've been doing it every single day. Tell me what it is. And Ruth, you can't do it because you know the answer. I'm just kidding, Aunt Ruth. You can put your answer in if you want to. And I'm not going to tell you. I'll give you to the end, and then Marseille, remind me to ask the question again, okay? All right. Build supportive, healthy relationships that honors your boundaries, because you got to have boundaries, right? You got to have boundaries. You've got to set your capacity boundaries. I don't have the capacity for that. I don't have the capacity for you. I don't have the capacity right now. Whatever your boundaries are, you have to set your capacity boundaries. If you don't have the capacity for it, you just don't. And so you don't do it, because that will protect you. That will protect your peace. That will protect your emotional state. Okay? That will protect your peace. That will protect your emotional state when you set your capacity boundaries. Not going there, not doing that with you today. Boundary. I don't want to be in this person. I don't want this person in my circle anymore. I don't care what relationship we are to each other. Boundary. Why? Because that person brings me great angst. So I set a boundary. I'm not, if I can control it, I'm not being in that person's presence. That's my boundary. I don't want to be around that person. That's my choice. When I was a kid, I didn't have those types of options, right? Because whatever your parents say, that's what you have to do. But as an adult, please, I got boundaries left and right. Right. You guys ask my cousin Marseille. Marseille will call me, and then I'll send him a text and say, I'll call you back. I didn't say when I was going to call Marseille back. Marseille used to get so angry, and then we had a real conversation. I said, Mars, this is me. When I say I'm going to call you back, it may not mean today, next half an hour. It might be 3 days from now, but I'm going to call you back. It might be a week from now. You might call me before I call you. If it's urgent, you got to tell me, cousin, I need you, sis, I need you to respond. But if I'm doing something, or I'm in the middle of working on Pam and I'm dealing with my own stuff, and I'm in this phase of I'm not taking calls right now because I'm focusing on me. I've set a boundary for myself because I'm intentionally trying to hear what God is trying to tell me about me. I am intentionally trying to become more in tune with my authentic, totally unique, best version of myself. Right. And sometimes that means I have to withdraw from the phone. And when I'm in that space, I'll call you back. I'm acknowledging I'll call you back. I didn't say when, but now we don't even do that anymore. He's learned me. And I told him this is who I am. It's not anything personal. It's just that sometimes I'm being intentional with me right now. And sometimes that means I can't. If you guys know me, you know that about me. It's a few of you guys on here that know that because you've experienced that. If I want to, I will. If I can, I will. If I'm in a space to, I will. But if those things aren't click, 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 then I may not. The family knows it teaches you to do the same thing. Correct. Because you have the power to control who's in your space when they're in your space. You do. Right? So there you have it. That's just me. All right. Now, build supportive, healthy relationships that honor your boundaries. Surround yourself with people who speak safety, not shame, not harm, not hurt. Surround yourself with people that aren't going to drain your battery, because when you're in a healing space, you can't afford that. You need all of you for you. And you do have to be selfish during those times. Can't. I need all of me for me. And when I'm in that space, I avoid people that I know require a lot from me emotionally. For me. Now, they may not like it, but guess what? That has nothing to do with me because I'm in protection mode for myself. Boundaries are so important. Releasing what is not good for you. That's right. We know it teaches us to take time with ourselves. It does. And sometimes that's what you're doing for people. When you withdraw, especially when it's people that attached to your battery and they're attached to you very closely, but what they need is too much than you have for them in the moment. You can't give them what they need anyway. So you may as well not allow them to connect to you, because what that's going to do is drain you. And then you're not going to have enough for you because you've allowed them to suck it all out of you for them. They'll find it. When you go silent and someone needs to attach, they end up finding another source, or they go inward and give themselves what they need. But if you're always there, then they don't learn how to stand on their own 2 feet. That's just the truth of it. And you have to teach people how to stand on their own 2 feet and not require so much from you. One of my girlfriends told me yesterday, we were talking, and she said, I really feel like too many people ask things of me. And I said, well, you have the power to control that. Don't be so accessible. I don't allow people to drain me. I can't be a yes for everybody, for everything. I can't. I won't. Not anymore. I used to say yes, 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 yes. But then I saw what it was doing to me. And it has nothing to do with when I call you, you don't give me a yes. It has nothing to do with that. If I give you a yes, it's because I can. I know you really need me and you need me, right? And I want to. That's just that. But it doesn't mean that if I give you a no that I don't want to. It just means that I don't have the capacity. Wow, you're speaking the truth. I had to stop that for me. I'm telling you. And guess what happens? When your battery is not accessible for somebody to attach to, they find somebody else, or they begin to strengthen their own battery. But they can't strengthen their own battery if they don't tap into their own self-awareness and find their own strength. You're actually not helping. You're actually not helping them. And so I just started saying to people, I don't have the capacity. After that, I can't worry about how they're receiving it, if they like it, if they don't. I can't worry about that. All I know is in this moment, I can't give you what you need, because if I do that, it's going to drain me. And then I can't give myself what I need. I can give myself what I need. So make sure you're giving yourself what you need. Okay. Let connection become a place of healing instead of survival. That's what I was just saying to you about the other person. It needs to be healing and not survival. You shouldn't be attaching to anybody else's battery because you require so much of them. That's survival. When you go inward and you rejuvenate your own battery, that's healing. But if you find that you can't get what you need because you always have to leech on to somebody else, that's survival. And as soon as that person detaches from you, you're empty again. That's survival. That's not living. You have to be able to give yourself what you need in those moments. You have to be able to give yourself what you need, however you do it. But it cannot require someone else. You know whose battery you should be? Never runs dry. Never, ever loses a charge. Will never, ever disconnect you. You know whose battery you should be tapping into? Unlimited amount of energy, resource, there for the taking. All you got to do is lock in. You already know the answer to that. You can't be the be all end all for people when they're going through their emotional stuff. There you go, Mars. You can't be that for people because it comes at a detriment to you at a time when you need yourself the most. When I tell you I learned this the hard way, I learned this the hard way. I did. I learned it the hard way. You can't be the be all, end all, do all for people, because once you position yourself as that person in their life, you'll find that they'll always come to you over and over and over, and even get an attitude when you say, I can't. Guess what? Somebody gonna have an attitude because I don't have the capacity. And you have to know who you have the capacity for and what you have the capacity for. Some stuff I just choose not. I may have the capacity, for it. But there are some times when I have to choose if I'm going to become connected with someone or not. Why? Because I just don't like the energy. And if they're not giving me, when you plug it in, we both should be getting something. You better say that, Karis. Unlimited battery source. Right? Whatever you need, God got it. Correct. But we've become so used to, I'm going to call this person. I'm going to call that person. I'm going to call this person. I'm going to ask this person's opinion. I'm going to ask. Don't ask me. Okay? Don't ask me. Don't ask me. Right? Don't ask me. Because if I tell you, it's going to be based upon what God is telling me I should do on my royal blue brick road. Well, you may be over here on the yellow brick road with Dorothy, and we may not have the same instructions. We may not be heading to the same destination. So if you keep coming to somebody else and asking them for direction on your brick road, you're going to end up where you ain't supposed to be. Because that wasn't your path. That wasn't your destination. That wasn't your destiny. You have jumped on to what the direction he gave me. No more. No more. No more. No more. So don't allow people. You got to stop that. You got to stop that. I'm not saying don't be there for people. I'm saying use wisdom. Okay? You got to know. You got to know your people. You got to know what type of energy they're bringing. Libby, don't miss God. Period. Period. With a T. Don't miss it. Don't miss him. And don't miss it. Don't miss what you're supposed to get because you're over here on Pam's Royal Brick Road because you following what I would do. But that may not be what you're supposed to do. You guys understand what I'm saying? All right. Let's see. Where are we? All right. Break inherited emotional scripts. Rewrite the stories that never belonged to you in the first place. Girls like you don't go to college, never belonged to me. I'm Dr. Pamela. Obviously, that didn't belong to me, but I rehearsed that script over and over in my mind from 8th grade until I was from 12th grade until I was 38 years old. Right, Karis, you got to compartmentalize some people, put them in the right buckets. Kathy, I'm so glad you shared this live. I'm so glad. Everybody should be sharing this live because you know people in your circle, and it may be people that you need to reach, that I may need to reach through you, that we don't even know. We don't need to know them. But I know God is doing the work right here with these lives. I know he is. Don't be selfish. You aren't the only one that needs to change behavioral responses, and you aren't the only one that needs to go on a healing journey. It costs you nothing to heal. It costs you nothing to share. I redact that. It costs you everything to heal. But understand what it costs me may not be what it costs you. You will never understand the price of my oil. You will never understand the price of my oil and what it costs me. And I will never understand yours. And I don't have to. But I know that the price that I've paid for my oil right now is priceless, because I got 8 people on Facebook and I got 4 people on TikTok, and I can't see how many on the other ones. If it's just one, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, because each one can reach one. And then that one reaches another. And by the time we keep passing it forward and paying it forward, at some point I won't even know the people. And it doesn't matter. But people are getting better. You don't know the cost of my oil. And trust me when I tell you, you wouldn't want to. It wasn't meant for you to know. You don't want to know the cost of my oil, of what it takes for me to be here sane, alive, talking to y'all, coaching y'all today. You wouldn't want to know the cost of my oil. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You wouldn't want to know. Trust when I tell you that. All right. Replace I must be strong with I'm allowed to be supported. You do not have to go on this journey alone. That's why I'm here. I'm showing you that you don't have to do this by yourself. I'm showing you that. I'm showing you what vulnerability and transparency looks like, because I don't hide my scars. And I'm not going to. I'm not ever again going to hide my scars. Why? Because I am no longer embarrassed of my story. I'm no longer embarrassed of my story. Why? Because it is my story that prepared me to be here talking to you guys today. And as I have said before, God knew that when he was scripting my story, even before I was in my mother's womb, he knew that I was going to be on these lives and all of these 5 platforms on December 4th, 2025 at 9:28 a.m. coaching however many people are on here. Just like he knew before you were in your mother's womb, when he was scripting your life, he knew that we were going to have this cataclysmic destination happen on these social media platforms. He knew that in advance. I'm good with that. I am good knowing that. That does it for me. Love you. Have a good day. Okay. I'm good knowing that. I'm so good knowing that. So when I tell you, I will never, ever, never, ever be embarrassed of my story ever again. Now, I used to be real embarrassed. Never again. It's what makes me me. It's what prepared me to be here for you today. Not embarrassed. Wouldn't change a thing. Yeah, I said I would not change a thing. And that may come at a surprise, because I've shared some pretty horrific details with you guys, but still, I would not change a thing. Why? Because if one thing would have changed, it could have changed my entire direction on my brick road. I thank God for being here today in this moment with you. I thank God for that, because you keep coming back. So there is something in me that is connecting with you that you need from me. This is what I tell my students when I go into the college. When I feel like I don't want to show up, like today, I'm feeling very feverish, like I'm really coming down with something. I'm nasally. My skin is peeling on my nose. I got some stuff happening, right? Did not not feeling well, right? But you know what I've heard in my spirit? Pam, what if you don't show up today and you are the only person that I gave the answer to somebody's question that's going to show up today, needing something from me, and you don't show up because the skin on your nose peeling? How dare you? How dare you? So I can't not show up because I may be the only person that has the answer to somebody's one piercing question that they have been seeking God for, and I don't show up because I'm feeling nasally. How dare you? Because that means now I'm responsible for you continuing to be emotionally bound because he gave me and only me the answer for you. You know who you are. I don't need to know. All I know is what I'm doing right now is assignment. I'm so okay with that. I don't need to know who the assignees are. It doesn't matter. If it's just one, I'm here. It's going to be passionate and powerful for just one. But whomever I was supposed to show up for today to answer the question, I showed up. And I will show up again tomorrow. I showed up. And I will show up again tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I will. All right. Replace don't feel with my emotions have value. You know how sometimes we shut ourselves down? We shut ourselves down. We're not going to do that anymore. It's okay to feel. You have to feel it. You got to feel it, see it, smell it, taste it, sit in it, all the things. I'm telling you. You have to retrace your emotional genealogy with all of the things that are attached with it if you're going to be able to change your behavior responses to it, if you're going to interrupt those negative emotional loops. You are. You're welcome, Jamise. It's the pleasure is when I say all mine, the pleasure is all mine. I'm here. I'm here. I got a fan. I have a fan down here on the floor blowing up on me. That's how warm I feel. I have a fan on because I know I have a fever. I got a fan on, a little teeny tiny little fan to keep me cool. So I'm not feeling this overheated sensation. Like, Pam, you got that turtleneck on? Yes. Because you know, you can't fool around with Rochester. You know what I'm saying? You can't fool indoors or outdoors. You can't fool around. And I can't have this fan blowing on me and I'm not covered, when you're perspiring and all that. You can't. So I'm covered. I'm taking care of myself. This is self-care. Okay. Now, give the inner child new experiences that contradict your old narratives. Give the inner child new experiences that contradict your old narratives because you don't need the old narratives. That's the goals. We don't need the old narratives. So rest when you're tired. Do the right thing for you. Ask for help. Allow joy to be present in your life. No more living in misery and sadness and weariness and angst and anxiety and depression and all those things. No more of that. And stop telling yourself, I'm depressed. The doctor diagnosed me with depression. However, I'm not saying depression doesn't exist. But what I'm saying is we have more control over our emotions than we give ourselves credit for. Sometimes we can take ourselves into deeper states of emotions because we're not controlling what we can control. Now, I'm not saying depression isn't real because I know that it is. Been there, done that. But I also know that I lived a more depressed life because I fed depression. I did. I fed it. So do what you can do for you, right? Be as healthy as you can with you. Okay, change. You got to flip your mindset. You got to reframe this stuff, and stop accepting piling all this stuff onto you because this is what you were diagnosed with. You may have been diagnosed with it, but it doesn't have to be as deep as you allow it to be emotionally. Oh, the doctor said I'm depressed. So I'm going to be so depressed. Oh my God. Every time somebody sees me, I'm going to be so depressed. Everything about me is depressed. Why? Because knock it off. Knock it off. The diagnosis is real, but you don't have to feed that. Remember what I told you. Your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, your energy remembers everything that you feed it. They don't care what you plant in there. It don't matter what seed you plant. What matters is what seed you feed. What seed you gonna water? What seed are you gonna water? So we make our emotions way more. We make our trauma experiences way more than they need to be because we continuously water them. If you continuously water something and it's in the right environment, it's gonna grow. So what you gonna do? Right? Pull back some of that water, baby. Take that sunlight off of it. Allow that stuff to die out. Don't give it so much energy. Don't give it so much room to grow. Okay? Don't give it so much room. All right? Now, how does a healed person show up? Like me? No, I'm just telling you, I'm just kidding. A healed person begins to live from the inside out. From the inside out. What that means is in a healthy way. I may be feeling this, but externally, I'm not going to go, ah, because I'm feeling this, right? When you're living healthily from the inside out, when you're feeling this, you can woosah that back into submission. Okay. When you do this, that is the unhealed child being expressive from the inside. A healed adult person knows how to put that child in timeout, at bay, control your emotions, and be emotionally mature and have emotionally mature external responses. That's how you know you've reached emotional etiquette. That's how you know you're practicing emotional etiquette. You pay attention, you give the situation the emotion and the level of emotion that it calls for. Okay? If it calls for more emotion, you don't cower and sink. You face it. Let's talk about this, right? If it requires, we're not going to do that anymore. Okay? We're not going to do that anymore. Okay? Not going to do that anymore. A healed person sets healthy boundaries instead of people pleasing. Yes, 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 yes. I can, I can, I can. I will, I will, I will. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. I got you. Boundaries. Boundaries. A healed person shows up and they exercise their right to set boundaries for themselves that protects their peace and protects their emotional state. That's your responsibility. Okay? A healed person has self trust instead of self doubt. Self trust. You trust yourself with you. You know that you got you. You know that you got you. And you take care of you. And you respond to the little girl and the little boy inside of you that is crying for attention right now. Just like any other little kid. They're going to keep doing all the things that it does, that it has been doing, where you give it attention. You have to change the attention that you give to the inner child and the inner child inside of you. If you continue to give it attention, even if it's negative, it's going to continue to show up so that they can get that attention. So you have to shift inwardly what type of attention you're giving the inner child. Attention is attention. I don't care if it's good or bad. Jamie says, love this, showing up healed and healthy from the inside out. You better believe it. No more. Jamise, no more. No freaking more. We're showing up healed, healthy, and whole on purpose. On purpose. Okay? A healed person shows themselves compassion instead of criticism. Remember, you hear it. It's absorbed. It's absorbed. Whatever you're saying to yourself, that internal dialogue, it's absorbed. Your body remembers, your spirit, your soul, your energy, your essence remembers all of the negative, cruel things that you've said to yourself. And understand that you've done more damage than you can outlive. But you can change it. You can rewire and reprogram. You can. Okay? You can. Regulation instead of shutting down. Not dysregulation, regulation. Okay? So when you're feeling this, you gotta center yourself. You gotta bring yourself back to the middle and calm yourself and get yourself to the point where you can do it like that, even while you're in the middle of conversation. This person is saying some things to me right now that is causing me a lot of dysregulation, and I'm feeling this thing happening to me. But on the inside, while I am talking to you, I'm not going to allow what's happening in me that it's heightening as we're talking. But I'm not going to allow myself to have an external explosive response because I have emotional regulation, because I'm emotionally mature. Now I'm going to let you show out and act up. I'm going to let you have that. I'm not matching nobody's energy. I'm not matching your energy, okay? I'm not matching your energy. I'm not doing that. And I'm going to simmer myself and calm myself. And I'm going to be the classy, refined, elegant, sophisticated lady that you come to know and love. That's what you're going to get. Now, did I? Baby. Mm. It's a few people in here that can attest to my temper. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you would be cussed out. Ugh. Cussed out. Thank God for change. But honey, so I'm telling you what I know. This lived my lived experience. So I'm telling you what I know. I've worked too hard on myself to allow anybody to have that much power and control to make me come outside of character. I worked too hard to become who I am. I've worked, again, you don't know the price of my oil. I've worked too hard to become who I am, to allow you to take me outside of my character. Why? Because then I start to feel some kind of way about myself again. I don't want to feel that way about myself again. I don't want to. And I'm not going to. No more. Because I have the power to control. Y'all should be able to finish that sentence like Cassidy by now. I have the power to control how you show up in my life, how much power I give you, how I allow you to impact me, how I respond to you. I have the power to control that. And so I do. Okay. Now, intentional choices instead of old patterns. Intentional choices to disrupt, to interrupt, to reframe, to change, to become. It's intentional. It's intentional. Could I fall into the rabbit hole? Absolutely. But once I really adopted that I have the power to control, the rabbit hole no longer was an option for me, because that was an old pattern. That was a thing of the past. What does my healed self look like in the rabbit hole? That's why when I had that military thing come back and I was in the rabbit hole for about 2 weeks, girl, bye. Whoever down here, y'all can have it. I'm out of. I'm blowing this popsicle stand. This, it didn't fit me. I'm not that person anymore. Did I give it space? And I'm not gonna say I was in the rabbit hole, because I really wasn't in the rabbit hole. But I felt some familiar things trying to come back and take me over. But I didn't allow it to. So I wasn't in the rabbit hole. But it's familiar. So it revisited me. Okay. It revisited me. And after I had given it the space, I'm like, okay, enough is enough of that. I got too much work to do. Right? So you cannot say you're healthy and whole, and you are still making choices based on your old patterns. We're not doing that anymore. We're changing that. Okay. And emotional authority instead of emotional survival. When you have emotional authority, that means you control your emotions. Your emotions don't control you. And that's when you know that you are operating with emotional etiquette. Your emotions don't control you. Now, will you feel all the natural, normal things that we feel? Yes. You're going to feel these things. As God knew we were going to feel these things, but it's the way you respond to the things. And that's why the scripture says, become angry, but sin not. It's all that right there tells you that you have the power to control. If it says become angry, but sin not, in that but, that's that split second moment where you have the power to choose. What are you going to do? I'm angry, but what am I going to do? Right there at that but, you have the power to control. Are you going to go left or are you going to go right? You have a choice. You have a choice. Okay. So now, a healed person, you're able to shift your presence. You're able to make deeper decisions based on regulation, and your peace becomes your power, not your pain. My pain used to be my power. I made it powerful. My pain used to be my power, but now my peace is my power. Okay? Make your peace your power. Protect your peace at all cost. And you cannot protect your peace if you're still allowing the little girl or the little boy, that unhealed ghost, to have dominion and rule and power over your life. You can't. All right. So I'm going to give you some reflective questions for healing, and then we are going to um, close out the ghosts in the nursery. But tomorrow, Friday, and then we're not going to be here Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow we're going to eulogize our ghost. Okay, we're killing the ghost. We've killed the ghost. We've killed the ghost. Okay, we've killed the ghost. Now we're walking in our healing. Okay, we are walking in our healing. Okay, now tomorrow we're going to make sure that while we're walking, that we're able to rise in our healing. As we're still killing off, we want to rise in our healing. Okay, all right. Reflective questions. Never too old to learn. You're right, Jamise. Reflective questions. What does my inner child still need from me? Still, because you may not be all the way there. Okay, I'm not making any assumptions that because we've been talking about ghosts in the nursery for the past 3 days, that you have vanquished all of the ghosts. Okay, so if you have not, then ask yourself, what does the little girl, the unhealed little girl, unhealed little boy still need in this present moment? What haven't I given him or her? What haven't I answered? What haven't I settled? What does the inner child still need that they haven't received in order for you to fully walk in giving up the ghost? If you're not able to fully give up the ghost, you haven't given it what it fully needs. And it may take some time. What does it still need that you never received? All right. Number 2, where in my life am I still responding to the wound instead of from wisdom? The wisdom of it's not happening to me right now. And so I don't really need to respond like that because it's not happening to me right now. Right? But you have to understand the difference between your wounds and your wisdom. Okay? So, where in my life am I still responding from the wound instead of from wisdom? And the last question, what new behaviors or boundaries can I practice that will support the healed version of me? What new behaviors or boundaries can I practice? Practice means we're doing it repeatedly. Okay. That will support the healed version of me. You guys got that? Marseille, question number 2. Where in my life am I still responding from a wound instead of wisdom? Where in my life am I responding from the wound instead of wisdom? And number 3, what new behaviors or boundaries can I practice that will support the healed version of me? What can I do? Yes. What new behaviors or boundaries can I practice that will support the healed version of me? You guys got that? Renee, are you still with me, sister? I'm not hearing anything from my TikTok fam. What's going on with you guys? Hold on, guys. Oh my God, they've been making all these comments and I've missed all of the comments. Thank you for the follows and thank you for the hearts and thank you, you guys loving on me. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, so you guys understand the ghost in the nursery is the unhealed past showing up in the present, and your emotions, your reactions, your parenting, your relationships, your responses, and your work, and all your things in your marriage, in your friendships, in your sisterhoods, in your whatever. You guys understand? Who does not understand what ghost in the nursery, what that means? Who does not understand? I want to know who does not understand what ghost in the nursery means. Marseille, you got question number 3? Mars, do you have question number 3? Yes. Yes, yes. All right. Save the video. If you haven't shared the video, share the video. Comment. I want to know, how are you feeling today? Check in with me and just let me know, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling right now with what we've gone through today? How are you feeling right now? Give me a check-in in the chat, please. Let me know. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? In this moment right now? How are you feeling? Don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy. How are you feeling? I got 73 new messages. Hold on. Very full of information, a lot to process. Right. It is, Renee. I know. But you got this. It's doable. It's doable. It's a lot, but it's doable. How do I know? Been there, done that. But it's doable. Very doable. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You guys, you're not telling me how you feel. I need to know how you feel. Just give me something. Write a sentence in the chat. Y'all acting like I'm asking y'all for credit cards. How you feel? I am feeling grateful. Yes. Thank you, Franny. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm happy to hear that. All right? I'm happy to hear that. Now, I'm going to go back to, oh, I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, it's 10 o'clock. We got on at 8 o'clock. You guys are making me do full 2-hour, like we in contract or something. Let me say encouraged home I'll work from today. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm feeling relieved that I'm learning to heal. Amen. 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 Yeah, give me some hearts, y'all. Share me some love. You know what I'm saying? That's my speaker's offering right there. Share me some hearts. That's the love. Just tap, 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 tap. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. Tap, 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 tap. Y'all acting like y'all scared to tap the screen. Anyway, we are going to sign out because I got some things that I need to go in, some contracts I need to send out and stuff. So I got to go and take care of some things. But you guys know what I'm going to say. You have the power to control how people, places, things, tasks, experiences, trauma, whatever, how it shows up in your life, how you respond to it, how much power you give it, and how it impacts you. You do. You do. You do. Okay, so embrace that. I love you guys. Love you with my whole heart. Go and create your totally unique day. All right, on purpose. On purpose. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Until then, ta-ta for now. Marcia,